All right, picture this absolute nightmare scenario for a second. Your biggest client is launching their absolute most massive campaign of the year. Traffic is surging, ads are firing left and right, and suddenly their WordPress site completely crashes. No way, right? You're left scrambling, juggling project timelines, while trying to explain this massive outage to a furious client. Well, in this explainer, we're going to look at a strategic blueprint to eliminate this risk entirely. We'll be looking at how leveraging premium white label WordPress maintenance, like the expert services provided by a team like Viral Chili, can literally become your agency's secret weapon. To really wrap our heads around the gravity of that nightmare scenario, listen to this stat. According to ITIC's 2024 survey data, 90% of organizations report that a single hour of unplanned downtime cost them over $300,000. Yeah, you heard that right. That is an incredible amount of money just evaporating every 60 minutes. So, site maintenance, it's definitely not just some basic IT chore, it's an absolutely crucial business imperative. So, how do we fix this? Well, enter your invisible partner. White label WordPress maintenance services are essentially these ongoing, comprehensive site management packages offered by a third-party expert. Again, someone like Viral Chili. But you resell them entirely under your agency's own brand name. It's brilliant. They work quietly in the background, handling all the technical heavy lifting, while your agency stays front and center, getting all the credit. And the demand for this? It's massive. WordPress currently powers 43.4% of all websites on the internet. That's nearly half of the entire web. If you're an agency managing digital assets, you're almost certainly managing WordPress. Partnering with a reliable, scalable team to handle all this upkeep isn't just nice to have, it's essential to your agency's growth.
Okay, let's dive right into phase 1, laying the groundwork, specifically focusing on scope and communication.
Right, so before the very first site even goes live, you absolutely must define the exact service level agreement, or SLA. It's got to comprehensively cover the whole shebang: core, plugin, and theme updates, active security scans, malware removal, uptime monitoring, and exact backup frequencies. A huge novice mistake is relying on a handshake and some vague promises. Trust me, vague agreements inevitably lead to billing disputes and super frustrated clients.
Now, even though your white label provider is quote-unquote invisible to your client, your communication with them cannot be casual. Relying on messy email chains, that's a critical mistake. You need a dedicated project management channel for real-time updates and an immediate escalation path, like a direct phone call, for critical security issues.
Moving right along to phase 2, bulletproofing your operations, where we'll look at security and recovery.
Get this. 7,966. According to PatchSack's 2024 security intelligence data, that is the exact number of vulnerabilities found across the WordPress ecosystem in just 1 year. It's wild. Active vulnerability scanning and patching must be a core, non-negotiable deliverable in your agreement. A provider that waits days to patch a vulnerability is basically a massive liability for your agency. But hey, if the worst actually does happen and a client's site gets compromised, you can't afford to panic. Your invisible partner must follow an exact, guaranteed incident response process. First, they immediately escalate. Second, execute malware removal. Third, patch whatever the vulnerability was. And finally, bring that secured site back online fast.
Now, when you're setting up your recovery protocols, you'll obviously establish minimums like daily backups and off-site storage. But honestly, none of that matters if you can't actually restore the site. Remember this. A backup that has never been tested is an assumption, not a guarantee. You got to make absolutely sure you have tested the recovery procedure with your provider before you actually need it in a live emergency.
Also, effective security depends heavily on how well your white label provider aligns with the hosting environments your clients are already using. So before you even onboard them, verify your provider fully supports these platforms and can easily step in with migration assistance if it's ever needed.
All right, let's wrap up with phase 3, scaling your value and proving ROI to your clients.
So why exactly is this white label model a total superpower for your agency? Well, with standard third-party maintenance, you just lose control of the client narrative. But with a true white label partner like Viral Chili, the technical work happening behind the scenes is totally identical, yet it's repackaged with your branding. You keep the client relationship, you get all the credit, and that revenue stream flows directly to you. And to keep your clients happily paying for that value month after month, you literally have to make the invisible work, visible.
You package up uptime logs, security scans, update histories, and page speed metrics into these beautifully branded monthly reports. This gives your clients tangible proof that your agency is fiercely guarding their assets. Plus, it naturally opens the door for you to seamlessly upsell additional optimization services.
Okay, let's talk pricing strategy, because this is key. Most agencies apply a standard markup of 30 to 60% on top of whatever the white label provider charges them. To easily justify this higher price point to your clients, don't just itemize individual technical tasks. Actually, scratch that. Never just list tasks. Instead, position your entire package as business-critical protection. That framing just resonates so much better with business owners.
And remember, as your agency grows, your needs are going to change drastically. An agreement that works perfectly for 10 client sites will absolutely need an overhaul when you hit 50 or 100. You need to actively schedule quarterly reviews to assess performance and renegotiate volume pricing tiers. Treat your provider as a long-term strategic partner to secure much better margins as you scale.
I want to leave you with this one slightly provocative question to think about. Is your agency managing sites, or are the sites actually managing you? By locking down security and leveraging a premium white label partner like Viral Chili, you completely transform maintenance from a daily headache into a highly profitable, scalable recurring revenue stream. So, what's stopping you from taking your agency's power back today? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.